Hello again. This is a totally different talk than the others that you may have seen during illustradays. Actually, this is some kind of, let's say, interrogation. Lina was super kind to let us ask her all these questions that the team had for an illustrator. So this time it would be something totally different, something more interactive. We gathered as a team, and I guess these questions will cover also some of your questions, but then you'll have the time to do yours as well. Some questions that we would like to ask an illustrator and we were afraid to do. But now Lina is going to answer to all of those. First of all, let me do a short intro, and then I'll give her the stage to introduce us to herself and her work. We first saw the work of Lina when we visited Sarmede. I have to say that I personally loved the illustrations that I saw, the ones that you can also see in the exhibition here, because I don't know, they made me feel like super happy. They were the colors, I loved them, and then that made me to go and search for the book and read the story. Happily, this book is also translated in Greek by Μικροσκόπιο, της εκδόσης Μικροσκόπιο. You can also find it in our shop. I believe that it will make your day, even if you're not a kid or you're not having a child. I totally recommend it. Also, just because you can see the images, and it would be great. So I'm passing the stage to Lina to introduce herself, and then I will start with the questions.
Okay, hello. I'm an illustrator, children's book illustrator from Lithuania, and I'm really happy, really glad to be a part of this festival. It looks really nice and cozy.
Thank you, Lina. So let's deep dive to your work and your techniques. My first question would be, how did everything started? How did you know that you want to do that?
I was born, so I don't know, I just wanted to be an illustrator or to do anything with books since I remember myself. I had a lot of books at my home, and my grandparents were into books, and I always knew that I wanted to do anything with books. And probably, yeah, I wanted to draw it, most of it, I don't know.
And what are your favorite techniques? I guess after the school you just started working.
My favorite techniques, I really love doing things live. I love paper, I love pencils, I love aquarelle, watercolors, or gouache. This is my favorite. Sometimes I do digital illustration, but my favorite is doing something on paper.
And what's the technique for this book?
This book is it's gouache and pencils.
Super nice. Can you describe us your routine? How do you start working? Do you prefer working on day, at night?
I don't know. I try to start working in the morning. I used to work earlier on. I used to do my work basically at night.
Okay.
When my kids were smaller, but then now I really try to do things in the daytime. And I don't know. I wake up in the morning. I take a walk. My dog for a walk. I live in the countryside now, in a beautiful place. We have a lake, personal lake, so I go for a walk around the lake with the dog, and then I start doing my work. And basically I do my work, I don't know, I don't have like a working hours because it's like full-time working with breaks for eating, gardening, and doing something with the dog.
Okay, I like the gardening part.
Yes.
So how is your studio? Like a lot
It's amazing.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, we moved with my husband, we moved recently, like maybe 4 years ago, to the countryside, and my husband is actually building the house alone. My husband is also an artist.
Okay.
So we're both artists, we both live at home and work at home. And it's like we're doing things in our cave. And we go to the city or anywhere else just for holidays, or when there is some kind of business. I have some students in a major, so I go once a week. I go to the art academy to give classes. That's it. All the other time we are in our studio, and we have beautiful studio with huge windows to the lake.
Okay.
And you don't see any people around, only wild animals. And
Really?
yes.
Okay. So this inspiration comes from nature. Do you have any other?
Inspiration, I don't know. I think you can find inspiration almost anywhere. Sometimes it's people, sometimes it's other illustrators, sometimes it's traveling, and some other time it's nature.
Okay. I'll just ask you to be a bit more closer.
Okay, I will try.
We're good. Do you see anything that your characters have in common, all those characters that you have illustrated all these years?
I don't know. Maybe I don't know how to do it not cute. Maybe it's
They're super cute.
they always become cute. I try to make it ugly or serious, but it's still cute.
Yeah, but it's your style and it's good.
I can't help it.
And would you share with us any of the illustrators that you admire? Maybe why?
I don't know. I admire actually a lot of illustrators, and I am really. I have addiction with children books, and I have a big library at home with children books. So it's really hard to say, because I admire illustrators not within my style. I mean, it's really, they are very different, and sometimes they are totally different from mine. It's not about that, but I don't know, recently maybe Beatrice Salaman.
Yes, it's amazing.
I really, and also Isabelle Arsenal, because they have that a little bit sketchiness and wildness, which is very alive.
And do you also write stories? Have you ever wrote a story that you illustrated?
I do, but I never illustrated it yet.
Yet? Okay.
No, not yet.
Are you thinking of doing it? Sharing
I
a
wish
story
I could.
Okay. And what type of story would you like to illustrate next?
Something from myself, probably.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I wanted to illustrate my personal book for a very long time, but you know, with illustrators' work, it's like you're always busy with some commercial things, and you don't have time for personal projects. So, getting there, hopefully.
And what's the biggest struggle that you would say an illustrator has to face
Deadlines.
nowadays? Okay, that was pretty clear. Okay, so it's the time.
Yeah, it's timing, basically. I think it's timing. Yeah, for me it is, because I'm very slow illustrator.
Okay, and how do you start? Do you read the text and then starting with some...
I read the text,
drafts?
and usually read the text again and again and again, because I don't know how with other illustrators, but to me, I need to adapt that text. It's like, but I think it's what it is with illustration, because you have to adapt it so you can do your version. And it's like you're dressing up that text, so it takes time sometimes to get there. and then you start doing something, just drawing.
Okay, so you just have the text, the paragraph, and you just start adding the elements. Are you starting with the characters? What's the process, and what's maybe your favorite part of this process?
Well, it's hard to say. No, I don't work on characters like separately. It's just like you start doing everything at once because you're usually, if you're doing picture book, it's not a long text. There's not much text, so you just reading it, and some parts are just sparkling, and you grab it and you do some kind of like a, I don't know, like a tangle, and then you fill it with,
Okay.
I don't know, for me something like that.
And your favorite part of this process?
Maybe when you already figure out everything and then you start drawing, you're just enjoying the process.
Okay. What would you change at your work, apart from deadlines?
Deadlines? I don't know. For me personally, yes, it's deadlines. But if we would talk optionally for community like illustrators, I think that it's illustrators' work is a little bit underrated. Not a little bit, it's a lot of underrated actually, because it's a very long process and you get very little money, so you always have to do works aside, or I don't know, you have to sacrifice some sort of parts of your life. So, because it's a very long process, and I don't know, for example, if you're a writer and you wrote a successful book, you can live from it your whole life.
For many years, at
But
least.
if you're an illustrator, then no. I don't know any illustrators, whatever they are famous. You can be famous, but not rich. I think. I don't know any of that sort of illustrators.
Okay. You also teach to kids and art students, right? What's the best part of it? And what's the only thing that you should definitely advise them if you had to choose only one?
I don't work with kids. Sometimes I have workshop with kids, but I work with students, with art students. I don't feel like I'm a sort of teacher, because I feel like more like I'm guiding them, and we are together looking for ways to get to their creativity. Like, my advice, to be 100 you. I mean, you have to find your way.
And what do you see that it's their biggest struggle from their side, starting to explore this form of art?
When they are young and they have all these tools, and nowadays it's like everything is open, everyone is sharing everything, and they want to be like someone, but they have to find themselves. So it's okay to explore others, or it's okay even sometimes to copy some others' works. It's okay in order to learn and to try something, but it could be only like a path to yourself.
And what your advice would be to the illustrators being among the audience today? We have some.
Just to enjoy and be yourself.
I have another question about your favorite books and your favorite style. Is there any classic story that you would like to illustrate one day?
Maybe I would like to try illustrate or adapt in some way Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, okay. She would
I
be a
don't know
very
why,
cute
but
Alice.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea on how you would work on it?
I don't know, because I made my major work in Art Academy. I made Alice.
Okay.
Illustration for Alice, for looking through glass. Yeah, but it was not for kids. It was for adults.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, it was
Did
like
this
interpretation. Yeah, because I didn't have a task to do it for kids, and so I was doing anything like, but it was a very long time ago.
Did this affect your style? I mean, it was.
No,
Again, it was.
no, it was something just like trying to do something.
And your favorite illustrated book?
Illustrated book. I don't know. It's very hard question because I have so many favorite books illustrated. One of my favorite books, children books, is Winnie the Pooh.
Really?
Yeah. I grew up with that book and I knew it by heart. And a few years ago, like, I don't know, 5 years ago, we went to New York. And I knew that these characters, these like toys, real toys, were in New York's public library, and that was my one thing to see in New York.
And you went? To
We
see
went there with my husband, and we went to the public library, to ground floor. It's like a space for children books. It's a huge space with little chairs and with little tables, and kids are sitting there, and these librarians. And in the middle it's like a glass container, and there is these characters. And I went there and I started to cry.
Really?
I didn't expect that. I mean, that was a surprise for me, and my husband was laughing and filming me, and
Yes,
I said, don't you dare to put it anywhere.
Okay.
I don't know how, but it was something like, it's awakened something. It was like going to church, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
That weird feeling. And another book which I don't know, it follows me during life. It's like it's Moments by Tove Jansson.
Ah, okay.
Because it's the best therapy if something is bad. So I don't know, I love these books.
Did those books affect in any way your way of working?
I don't know. I
They're
can't
inside you.
pinpoint that actually. It's like just inside.
Yeah. Can you somehow introduce us a bit to the Lithuanian illustration? Is there any point that we should look out, or something that we should know? Any common elements or techniques that we see there?
I was thinking about that question, and I think if we were talking about something like a while ago, I don't know, half a century ago, when the borders were more closed, then maybe yes, I would say that's something peculiar. But nowadays, I think because everything is open and everyone is sharing everything, and the borders are faded, so I don't think it's something affected by nationality, or it's like it became more personal, like worldwide, and only in those countries who are more restricted, probably you can find that specificity, you know, like affected with folk or something. So more than illustration in Lithuania, I don't know, it's the same like everywhere.
Okay. And can we get back to the mysterious lake,
Okay.
and maybe share a couple of secrets of the process? I don't know, some parts of the story that you loved, any weird or inside stories that you would like to share?
I don't know. I mean, it was a nice story, and there are more stories with these characters, and the publishers keep pushing me to draw it.
Ah, okay.
So maybe there will be more stories because it's a very nice story, and other stories are also very nice. And I don't know, only one thing I remember that in Lithuanian all the text is written by hand,
Okay.
and in Lithuanian version. And the publisher didn't want to publish book with handwritten because he said for kids it will be hard to read and things like that. But I insisted, and there was a point I was like, okay, then we won't publish that book at all.
So it was you who...
Yeah, because they say no, we will do the printed text like normal text, and say no, I need that handwritten text because I took so long to write it, and it was with the little pictures in text as well. And the publisher was stubborn and said, no, we don't want that. And I said, but I want that. And eventually they did it, yeah. Because they also, the publisher was also like concerned that if it will be translated, how it will look in other languages. And I said, okay, in other languages it could be typed. So that was a compromise, the only compromise.
I think that the font they used looks like
a little bit handwritten.
Yeah, a little bit. So I guess this came from the original idea that you had. And how about the main character of the book?
Oh, a piglet.
A piglet, yeah. And
a piglet has long ears and doesn't have a tail.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's another story. It's from another story because it has a long ears, I think, because there is like a little story where behind that book where there was a very dirty rabbit and very tidy piglet. And the piglet was going to wash himself to the river every day, and the rabbit wasn't washing himself at all. And then something happened that someone gave rabbit's ears to piglet because it was so tidy and these ears was so nice and beautiful. That's why it has long ears.
Nice. Is it okay if I turn the questions to the audience so that they can share with us? Yeah?
It just at some point I think it just lost its tail because it was a weird piglet, and because it creates poetry, has long ears and has no tail, and other piglets were like, you're a weirdo. And they didn't want to be friends with it, so he became friends with the cow. It's Moments by Tove Jansson. Moments. Tove Jansson, do you know that? It's a Swedish, Finnish, I don't know. It's more, she born in Sweden, but she considers herself Finnish.
Mm-hmm. They're white, like, I don't know, hippos, somehow with black hats
like
and
trolls.
Black. Yeah, like trolls.
She call it trolls, but yeah.
Anything else for Lina?
Hi, Lina.
Hi.
I would like to ask you if you're happy that in Greek publication the text is handwritten too.
Is it handwritten?
Yes, I hand wrote it.
Yay! Thank you. I'm very happy. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Your work is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Can you share more about the process? You did it?
Yeah, of course. I just looked very carefully the way that the text in Lithuanian is written. You know the shapes of the letters. They are very curvy, but very clear at the same time. And then I started by writing each letter separately, and then I used the program for coding my handmade letters, and then I typed it on my computer, and that's how it
Nice.
You did a great job. Thank you.
Other questions? Okay, I guess I asked everything, so there's nothing left for the audience. I don't know if you want to close with any message for the Greek audience before we...
I just can say thank you for inviting me very much, and I'm really happy to be in such a nice place with such a nice, in such a nice company with other illustrators who are very nice. And yes, thank you. And you have a beautiful food in Greece.
True. So Lina will stay here in case you want a copy of the book signed. She will be around. I definitely suggest it. It's a great book. And thank you so much for coming to Greece just for illustradays.
Thank you.